Hey everyone, welcome to FMATalk Chronicles. I am Tim Hartman, and this is my co-host.
Hey, Tye Botting's here.
All right. So today's topic will be why do and I'm having camera issues as usual. Oh, and clumsy issues. Why can't Filipino martial arts school be the norm and not the exception? But first, man, I am all over the place. That's what happens when I have extra time and I do nothing with it.
Extra time, that must be nice.
Yeah. So before we start, let's get into a couple things. So first of all, I want to thank our sponsors, which is the Modern Ace University, along with the Vulpes Training Blades, which their sale ends this week. They're doing free shipping in the continental U.S., and I know there's a discount on the Datu blades. I'm not sure if the Datu series, and I'm not sure if they have something else going on. I think they may have something else going on, and there we go. Hello from Wolfpack. Marshall, how you doing?
Hey, PG Sam.
All right, and then we want to mention our feature events. We've got not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, we have your Fall Fling down in Fairfax.
That's right. Yep.
In March, we have the Can-Am FMA Summit. And in May is the 65th anniversary of Modern Arnis. And September will be the Bikini Tertia Next Generation Gathering. So these are our feature events coming up. There's another event. We're going to talk about that today. And then there's PG Wolf. I think we're going to take a poll to see how many times I crashed this microphone and camera.
Did you set it up differently?
I don't know. Okay. So, did you do anything special for Thanksgiving weekend?
Stayed home, did some fix-it things, worked a little bit on Friday, but
Yeah. And there's George. Now, George is doing this the right way along with Marshall. Listen, we've heard there's been some problems with audio and stuff on YouTube or Facebook. So the best way to listen to the show live would be to make sure you listen to it on YouTube. Now, if you don't, you need to get a YouTube account, which are free. That way you can comment if you feel like making comments as the show goes on or asking questions. So please, when you can, if you go over to Tim Hartman, Datu Tim Hartman, or Ty's KF over there, please like the channel or subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification buttons, and by all means, share this video wherever you feel appropriate. And that's a word from our sponsor. So, and then George gives us the thumb up.
all right.
That is a thumb, right? It's not a finger. Okay, that is a thumb. Okay. So today, Defensive Tactics Systems, greetings from Guam. Hey, we know it's Bill. We got to get Bill on here.
Good. I don't know what time it is there.
I think he's 13. We tried talking about that the other day. So it was like 13 hours or 15, or I don't know.
I'll just say good morning. How's that?
Good morning. There we go. So today's topic is going to be about FMA schools, like full-time schools. Why are they the exception and not the norm? Maybe some things that could do. This ties into our FMA Pro series, FMA Professionals. Oh, no, I just make there we go. I make my seat go down. That's how I fix this up. And then it's Tuesday. Okay, it's 11:30 there. It's Tuesday morning. Okay. Larry Thompson said hi. And that's the finger. Okay. Great. And thanks, George, for sharing. So we will be talking about schools. But I got something to talk about. I got a question for people. So I'm going to pull something up here. And I want a feedback thing here. So I was past tense. Evidently things just changed over the weekend. I was an admin on the worldwide Modern Arnis Family Facebook page or something along those lines. Hello, Mr. Sweeney. All right. So for the longest time, for the last few years, I've been an admin on that page, and last week something came in and a question, and I pretty much know why things were, or I got my opinion on why things are happening, but it did bring up a good question. So let's just we'll get in there. Yeah, I was an admin. We'll talk about it. So I got to do this because of where my computer is. Brian Zawolinsky writes into the Facebook group, please consider removing the seminar titled Modern Ernie's Triple Threat Seminar. I do not think having the word threat in a seminar title is appropriate or professional in this day and age, and it can also be detrimental should any of us have to testify in a court either as a civilian or under the color of law. Thank you for your consideration. Okay. So I really disagree with that, but Ty and I have this protocol that when we hear something, we want to question to make sure that we're not being insensitive and stuff like that. Ty had an event, talked about brotherhood in the event, and the way the word was used in the past is not the way it's perceived as today. We asked a woman who was here in my club when Ty was visiting. I said, "Hey, what would you think if an event was labeled this? Would you go to it? Probably not." Okay, and then did you end up changing the name?
Yep.
Well,
it wasn't in the name; it was in the description. But yeah,
description. It was a description. Yeah, okay.
Changed it to family fun or something like that.
And I was talking to a woman reached out to me from our Chamber of Commerce. So in the Chamber of Commerce, they have this Women's Day, Women in Business Day. So they had asked me, hey, Tim, are you going to come to support the event? I go, well, why would I be there? This is a women's event. Oh, no, it's open to everyone. I go, well, then maybe you should consider renaming that because it's given me the vibe that it might be a women's only event. So we understand how this can be perceived. So my question here is, the name of the seminar was, past tense, Triple Threat Seminar. Now, my question to all the people who are watching at this time, do we feel that that is a negative thing these days? Which is weird because even Brian Z, his when he was part of the IMF, they were doing triple threat seminars and events. So, and hello, May De Leon. Good morning.
Magandang umaga.
Magandang umaga. So what does George say? He says, no, he doesn't feel that. What do other people feel? That is triple threat kind of off the deep end? Now, I talked to the hosts or my cohorts, which is Ty is one of them. And Frank was the other, Frank Schakowsky, which I haven't seen him chime in yet. He usually signs in about now. Let me see what we got here. With people today, you never know. Okay. So we talked amongst us and made the comment that, hey, let's go with triple impact, just to err on the side of caution. Mr. Sweeney says, not at all. Okay. I wonder if this has the function to do polls. I think there is. We're going to have to look into software. There's been some updates too. I should look in the set. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have the controls you do.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into this and see what I can do. Okay, so far, no one seems to see, we have one person saying you never know. Others, you say they don't have a problem with it. Now, here, and according to George, I should have that function.
Uh-huh.
From my perspective as a retired police officer, I see no issue with this as long as it's defined as the flyer and enrollment page. Okay.
Right. So look for safety and liability and all that kind of good stuff. You put it and say, hey, this is blah blah blah. Yeah.
A team could be called triple threat. 3 people go to compete. What's your team name? Triple threat and stuff like that. So here's here's where I have the issue with. Okay, so this is what Brian, like I said, that's what Brian Z wrote. So here's my question or my issue. Please consider removing the seminar title. The seminar titled, not the seminar title, but remove the seminar that is titled triple threat seminar. Okay. So I'm going to go back to that real quick. So here's the first issue I have. We talk about this a lot. You're either part of a problem or part of a solution. So if Brian truly perceived that this was a problem, why not reach out to one of the three of us and say, hey, would you consider changing? Oh, here's Frank now. Go figure. I don't know if you heard what we're talking about. We're talking about the renaming of the event, Frank.
So is this the thing where you mention someone's name and they pop up?
Yes, I think that's how it is. I'm going to mention George Washington, and George Washington will pop in magically. So,
hey, Frank.
Okay. So then, let's see. Speaking of George, nothing would lead to need to testify. Come on. Okay. Well, first of all, let's talk about this portion right here. If we're talking about appropriate for professional, the professional thing would have been to reach out to one of the three of us and say, hey, would you consider changing the event name? Instead, he goes to a Facebook group that we used for advertising, or a Facebook page, and asks them to take it down. Now, I'm sorry, this is what I do for a living. It would have been nice if we're talking about professionalism. Hey, Heidi. Hold on. If we're talking about being professional, Frank and I are both professional martial artists. Brian does this as a hobby. He's retired corrections, and this is not his vocation. But I mean, if we're talking about professionalism, the professional thing would have been to reach out to one of us. The other thing is, okay, I only know of one case in Buffalo history that anyone was brought in to testify in a martial art case, and that's because somebody passed away during a black belt test.
Wow.
And people were brought in as expert witnesses for how black belt tests should have been performed. Now, the guy had a heart attack, and he had smoking issues and all this other stuff. Here we go. Check out your dictionary.com triple threat. Okay, I might have to look at that. So I really here's the question. I've only known of one. I've been doing martial arts since the 80s. I've only known of one case. It was a civil suit that a martial artist had to testify. I don't really agree. I mean, my personal opinion is the seminar is 3 miles away from where he did his last event, and he's upset that we're doing something in his backyard. But it's not his backyard. This is where Frank has a school. Since then, okay, my admin powers have been revoked, which is kind of funny. And all the events that I had, all my posts, or most of my posts were there, have all disappeared overnight.
So I did go to that page. I have triple threat meeting up, and that's the way, what's on that page is exactly what I think. Somebody or something that basically skilled at three particular types of things. So in this case, right, if it's three of us teaching, then it's three people sharing their skills. So yeah, I don't get it, but I mean, people can go to that page themselves. But that's a common usage of the term, right?
Yeah. And Rich Parsons says, hi, Tim and Ty. Hey, Rich. Yeah, I sorry, Rich, I didn't send you that brochure or that flyer yet. I mean, let me see. Let me see here.
Oh, yeah.
If you're getting cautious about the word threat, they should be looking up the aspect of renaming Blade and Knife Seminar or something that's more politically correct. You mean like how they do things? Yeah, they're all, yeah, well, yeah. Which is things that they do that, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, people will find a way to be bothered, and I don't think it's a liability thing, but maybe perception's fine. So I mean, when you asked about that, it made sense to me to change it. Hey, somebody has a problem. I don't know where that came from, and then you want to change the name to what we do? Impact. That's fine.
Triple Impact. And since then, the event's been taken down off of that Facebook page. All but 2 of my posts for the last year have been taken down.
With no communications.
With no communication whatsoever.
Wow.
So,
well, I mean, and so, wait a second. So, you saw that post, and then what happened? And then you got removed? What happened?
Well, I responded. Okay, so, well, first of all, okay, so here's And okay, Mr. Sweeney's putting stuff up there.
I think it's Steve Sweeney is cool, is what he's saying.
Okay, so
Probably not, but I'm teasing him.
So here's the event now. Boom. I'm going to take our brand away.
Now I'm scared of those guys.
Oh, look at that triple impact seminar.
Well, now they're going to hit me. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, well, you get to hit 3 times. triple. You're going to hit. It's a martial arts seminar. Oh my God, we can't do a martial arts seminar because that's not PC. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Hitting. So since we're talking about it, I'll put a little more on this to make sure it's in the proper context because I want. So what happened was the automated message was thanks for contacting what we received, and right after it. So I responded, but it came in as an admin. I think you may be overreacting. There are plenty of industries that use the term triple threat when it comes to promoting their events. Here's one example. Oh, wait a minute. Look at it. Fall Fest. Triple Threat Workshops, 2nd annual Fall Fest. Okay. Craft vendors, blah, blah, blah. Redeemer Lutheran Church. Triple Threat Workshop. Here's something for the Dream Foundation. And then is that Breastcast? What is this? I can't even tell. Whatever that logo is. But if the church doesn't have a problem, then Brian wanted to know who responded. I didn't get a chance to respond because I was getting ready for Thanksgiving festivities, helping clean around. Actually, so what happened is that I'm actually getting the house ready for you and others to show up next week, this coming weekend. So did the message come from, okay.
So I think one of the things to be clear that page is a page, not a group.
Yeah,
so whoever's an admin on the page and somebody
is a Facebook page that someone made me years ago, one of the admins. Most likely it was Bambit Dulai. Now, since then, all my powers have been stripped and such, which, you know what? And here's the thing. I'm going to be very upfront about this. I don't really have a problem with it if that's the protocol. So I have the World Modernist Alliance Facebook page and group. I now have it set up where people need their posting has to be authorized. I need to approve posts because people are putting things that are not related to our art, and it's for our organization, promotion of Remy and the World Modernist Alliance. So when I sit there and see I don't know, La Costa Arnis or Paquita Tertia videos or whatever, it's not promoting Remy's art. And so I've since then taken it where posts need to be approved by me. Now, Abon Bayet used to put stuff, he puts stuff up a lot. He's related. He talks about Remy and stuff like that. And Arnie's back when he first did it, and now how it is now, and so I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I think he has a Lacan Issa or Lacan under Remy.
So let me see. Here we go.
Oh no, it came from a user. It came from he already said the name.
Yeah. So it came from Brian Zolinsky was the inquiry.
Yep.
Then I responded, but I was an admin. So then it became this big question: Who is this? Who is this? And I planned on responding. My response was going to be simple. Well, Brian, it's actually me, Tim Hartman. I don't know why you didn't just reach out to me. I would have, because I would have entertained the dialogue. Yeah,
or me or Frank or I just talked to him the other day. He could have talked to me.
There's 3 people he could have chose to talk to.
That would make more sense also, because guess what? If you actually want to change the name, that'll change it everywhere.
Well, exactly. Well, and we did. Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, he didn't want to change anything. He just didn't want it on one of the places he was at. If he really wanted the problem fixed, he would have got involved. Instead, he just said, take it down off of this Facebook page, which isn't if he truly believed that this was a problem, then get involved to fix the problem. This goes back to things that I've had, in the IMAF when I left. Some people said, well, we were on gag order. We weren't supposed to do something. We couldn't say anything. Well, taking no action is still taking an action. when you see someone being assaulted and you choose not to get involved, you're letting that happen. You're an accomplice for all intents and purposes. Who's to say you can't go around the corner and call 911 with no one else looking? I've seen accidents happen and I can't stop. I'll get on my phone and call now. I can't tell you how many times I've called the police while behind the wheel of my car, hands free, and gave them the heads up on something.
It's definitely weird. I don't know, maybe something was weird, but I think that would have been the right
care about changing the name. Okay, he did care about changing the name, only stopping the promotion of the event.
I think he meant to type didn't.
He didn't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, personally, well, I mean, you told me when you went to visit Frank after the seminar, it was less than 3 miles away from the camp location.
Yep.
Now, and I've had someone ask me this question. So, well, what's the protocol of teaching in someone else's area? First of all, it's no one's area. Okay, no one owns anything. Secondly, I probably did seminars in Connecticut before Brian was ever doing seminars. Matter of fact, I was one of the first guys doing seminars in my era. And we'll talk about this. We see minimum is friends with Ty. He should have said something. Yep, should have said something to you, Ty. Okay. So, and this is, so I did a seminar for Eric Alexander. Eric is Frank and Ty's teacher. He lives in Connecticut, or he did live in Connecticut. He had me out because he wanted to learn modern Ernest as a standalone program because everyone was blending it with another art, and he wanted to learn it as untainted as possible or as pure as possible. So I went out in 91 to teach that seminar. Eric leaves. After that, Frank wanted to have me out for a seminar, just things didn't work out. Now, the three of us are getting together. So we have two classmates and me, someone who used to consult for his teacher, getting together and doing a seminar together. There we go. And hello, Miguel. We were supposed to talk, brother. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Miguel.
If you're out in Rancho Cordova in the Sacramento area, you want to do Dulce Pares and or Yaoyan, Miguel is the place to go check out. Also, he has some badass Kamagong weapons that he sells. Okay. So, I mean, personally, I just believe that it was to undermine the event. I take it personal because this is what I do for a living. This is how I put food on my table. So when people do things like this, I think this is a knucklehead play. And maybe I'm overreacting, but, Frank and I are both professionals. This is what we do for a living. And when someone does something to try to mess with that, I take that. I mean, I've never tried to mess with any of these guys' ability to make money. So, I get a little defensive at times. And it's not a thank you. Okay, hello, Mr. Craig. But that's that.
We got a little off track, but no, that was weird. I get it. I would have thought it would have gone a different way, but
well, this is my rant of the week. I have to have a rant of the week. I do want to throw this out to people as well. Listen, Ty and I talk about modern Ernest facts as we know them. Some of the things we know are exactly what they are. Some of the things we say are based on opinion or our feelings. Hello? Okay.
Or preferences.
So, and our preferences. There we go. So if anyone would like to be on the show and have a dialogue with us, we would love to have you on the show. Here's the thing. Somewhat recent, I'm not going to get into whom, but somewhat recent, someone made a comment about stuff, and it was a monologue. And then one comment was like, well, Tim and Ty asked me to talk. Hell, they can't get me to shut up. Well, no, we asked you to be on the show and have a dialogue. There's a difference because dialogues can clear the airs. And maybe if you come on the show, I know that we will give you the opportunity to change our minds. And as long as you come to that same openness, it could be a productive conversation. So,
starts with communication.
I find that's been happening a lot lately. People cutting each other grass when it comes to seminars. And I think a lot of this has to do is that we've been COVID fatigue. Listen, there's a lot of people in our industry, and specifically the modern race industry, I can't believe the shit that's coming out of their mouths as of late. And I was trying to figure out why all of a sudden, because we've been locked down for so damn long. And yes, from Saudi Arabia, we'll have to make it over there one of these days. We go to the Philippines. We should side trip somewhere. Okay, so let's get on today's topic. So this one was inspired by a special edition we did. We had Grandmaster Tabuada on a Friday night episode.
That was good. Good visit.
Great visit. Loved the man. And during the show, we talked about, I don't know how it came up, but I made a comment about full-time FMA or full-time FMA schools came up. And Rich loved it. Thank you, Rich. It was one of the people on there. So one of the things, though, I made a comment about a full-time FMA school, and Alex Omazic says, that's what was the phrase that he used? That's very rare. Full-time FMA schools are very rare.
Right.
And then it reminded me of the interview that Bruce Chu has said this once on FMA Discussion as well as on FMA Pulse, and Bruce is wrong on this one. He says that there's no full-time Filipino martial arts schools. I'm like, well, then what am I doing? So I've got a 5,000 square foot facility here. We have multiple locations that are part-time, full-time. We'll talk about that. And I know multiple places that are full-time, part-time, or part-time, full-time, I should say. And we'll go through there. So let's first define what I'm talking about. So let me see here. So a school that offers Filipino martial arts doesn't make that a Filipino martial arts school. I used to offer Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here once. Actually, for quite some time, we had Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu offered. It was a side program, which is really cool. Once again, usually what happens is you have a school, like karate or taekwondo school, fill in the blank, that sublets to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Okay. You never see a Filipino martial arts school subletting to somebody else. That was the cool thing. But we've had Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here, offered by the staff as a side gig, but we were not a BJJ school. Currently on the floor right now, I've got Shirinji Kempo going on. This is Goshin Kempo. It was a derivative. I said that word again. Derivative of Shirinji Kempo. This is a guy who was my mentor coming up. I let him use my place. He makes a little donation, but he uses the place 2 nights a week for 4 hours. And it's more for him than anything else. It's not a business for him. It's just something he loves doing. He's done it all of his life. And hello, Carl. Carl's coming up this weekend too.
Oh yeah?
He says he is.
Northern Carl, across the border.
Canadian Bayesian,
Wow.
Maybe he's going to talk to us about possibly testing for his black belt in May.
Yes, Carl. Do the work. Do it. Come on, show us.
He is a great guy. Yeah. And
he's got really cool hair too.
Listen, you just... Yes, I will. Yes, he will be here. He will be here Saturday.
Good.
I don't know about the testing thing, but so we have people who teach. Okay, I talked about this FMA professionals before too. And I don't know, did we do an episode on this as well?
Which one?
FMA schools.
We did. What it takes to do one, which is a different question.
Yeah, and there we go. Bald is beautiful. That's from Bill.
There you go.
Three of you guys are teaming up on me.
That's right.
Correct. my cool hair, and I am ready to test. Okay. So,
but yeah, that triggered me when Alex said that, right? That's when I said, hey, well, really? Why does that have to be, right?
And that's really what the show's about. I mean, I'm not mad at Alex when I say this.
Yeah.
It's the default. Okay, first of all, too many Filipino martial artists think they have a school when all they do is have a club. They teach 1 or 2 nights a week and they think they got something. Sorry, that's not a school. I mean, for that matter, I mean, look at all the guys in the Philippines. They don't have schools. They teach 1 day out of the park. Is that a school or is that a training group?
Training group. I have a training group.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm not trying to take anything away from that. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Otherwise, I'd have to say something. But no, I get you. So hopefully no one should get twisted.
Yeah, I want you coming up this weekend and well, see, I'll just sick the dogs at you and I'm all
That's
good.
Right.
But the following weekend I'm at your place, so I'm at your mercy there.
I'll get you with those plastic knives.
Oh. So I taught in my backyard. Did what everyone else did. I got into my church. Then I got into a gym. Then I got my own rental spot. It was an office space. And then I got to here where I am. And I've been in this plaza for a little over 2 decades. And my 20th anniversary was October 1st this year. Okay. Nice. My 20th anniversary of being in the plaza. I'm sorry. My 20th anniversary of being in this plaza was October 1st. Horizon Martial Arts started in 1988. Well, it started before that, but I only count from when I became a black belt because I actually started before I left my instructor as a brown belt. And Remy reached out to me, coming to me and talking to me about stuff, which for the record, for the non-FMA people out there listening to the show, it's common for people to be training group leaders without having a belt. Matter of fact, most Filipino styles don't use belts. That was something that Remy did, and a lot of people glommed onto it. They copied what Remy did. And that was to combat the popularity of karate and taekwondo, or actually karate, I think, and judo in the Philippines.
Right. But even right, when he would, if he saw fit, if you were a color belt, but he wanted you to train some people, have a training group. He had a program for that too, right?
Exactly. Instructor. He had an apprenticeship program.
Yep.
So, but the problem with it is, and even so. And what I see in modern and other Filipino systems do a lot of the same stuff. I see a lot of, so here, I guess the real question here is, before I go down that path, how many systems do you feel that are complete? Now, that's a complex conversation.
It is.
So what do you mean by complete? It could be complete in the field of study, but it's not a full martial art. So you can sit there and say, I don't know, let's say kendo. Sword fighting art. How relevant is that today? How many situations? Now, of course, you're going to get somebody that's going to say, well, you could use this one move. Okay, but how many moves can you use on a regular basis? I have someone sit there and we argued when someone's talking about like who still does seminars. Well, I do seminars. Oh my God, what, once every year or so? Is that really doing seminars? I go, if you want to talk about it in the spirit of what was done versus the written word, yes, I do seminars. Okay, are you professional because you charge money? I mean, that's another thing. I mean, professional martial artist to me is someone who's doing this as their profession, because a lot of people out there shouldn't be charging money. It's like a local guy who works on, a local mechanic. He's not certified, but he can, it's that local guy that everyone takes his car to. And it's like, hey man, give me some money. Let me give you some money for this, or it's the guy like, I can put this in, but this is what my time's worth. But, realize that certain things are beyond my depth here, yada, yada, yada. So, my grandfather used to help everyone in the neighborhood, and everyone paid him back one way or another. But he wasn't a professional contractor. You wouldn't know it though. So, I think the problem is a lot of people, we just look at things a little differently, and there's like, what's the spirit of what's being done now? To me, a complete system, a complete martial system, should be self-sufficient. So, like right now, I don't know, let's say kendo. You're not going to have I don't know of many kendo schools. I know of kendo clubs inside of something else. But I don't know of a school of kendo that is self-sufficient in the United States. Yeah, as we're all deep in thought, because most people who are looking for martial arts, they're looking for something like punch, kick, lock, throw, self-defense type stuff, and I'm not saying complete as it makes you a complete fighter, but gives you the whole package of what you would need in most day-to-day scenarios. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't know. It is a complex kind of question about what's
very complex.
But I actually think it's even the wrong question. But if you're doing a complete art, you'd want to have, then it would be, what do you mean complete, right? Does it mean that you have all the ranges? Does it mean that you have all of the options? Does it mean that you have all of the methodologies for training and delivery, right?
Okay, well, let's rephrase the word. How about a standalone program?
Oh, okay. Well, that may be easier, right?
Is that a better? I mean, here's the thing, and please, everybody, chime in. We want feedback too, because when we're trying to explain the issue with people, with the industry, with what we're having, sometimes we don't have the word. We know what we want to say, we just don't know how to articulate it in a way that the masses will understand.
Right. Well, I think, let's go back to that standalone, because the crux of the question, right, is why is it accepted that an FMA place is not going to be standalone? You don't have those. Hardly anybody has them, and that's a default. That's a bad position, right? Because if you set that as a default, you're not even trying. What's to stop you? I mean, FMA is great for kids. It's great for everybody. You could have a standalone school. Nothing's stopping you, except for maybe you've accepted that as a default. That's why I reacted to that.
Yeah. So, like what George just said, Master Kimura, who's out here, he teaches kendo, but he doesn't do it as a standalone program.
Right.
Standalone.
Right.
His Rinji, his Goshin was his primary. And even that, he was actually a supply company first. And he taught martial arts for fun. And then the martial arts, he became a lot more popular on the martial and less on the martial supplies, because more outlets for supplies came out there.
Right. Well, and that's part of the challenge, right? How are you going to have a standalone school for a system when everybody wants a little bit of everything? And so now people are forced to teach multiple things at a thing in general. However, nothing's stopping them from doing a full sweeping program. I mean, we know of a few specialty schools of all sorts of types.
Yeah. So do we like the idea of standalone?
Maybe. I mean, so.
Is it closer to the target?
Maybe. I don't know. So why don't we specifically talk about what the target is, and then we can go on there. So what are you thinking?
Well, let's put it this way. This is what I think makes a successful school.
Mm-hmm.
One, let's call it what it is today. And I've been noticing a shift. The ability to teach children.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing an adult shift again in the favor. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about a school, I'm talking a self-sufficient school with paid staff that is dedicated to the craft, to the art. Not, I've got a 9 to 5 and I do this, a part-time school. To me, like I'll say, so Craig Mason is one of our guys here. He's a part-time, full-time FMA school.
Mm.
So he has a career. He's getting closer to retirement. But his martial art program is full Praesis Arnis. So he's dedicated to the teaching of Praesis Arnis. So punch, kick, lock, throw to the ground. Now that's a part-time school because he's doing it. So I think for part of this, if we're talking school, we need to have the ability to do a full-time school. And I think one of the things you need to do is be able to teach children, because if you can't, and children become adults. I mean, I got a guy who just got done working on Spider-Man, She-Hulk, might be doing other movies coming up. Has been as part of the MCU, done a bunch of stuff on Walking Dead. He started with me when he was 4. He just turned 30, and he's still with me. I mean,
30?
granted, I don't get to, he just turned 30. Yeah.
Wow.
Think about that. One of my 4-year-old students is 30 now.
You're old.
I was young.
Was. Well, no, actually, while you were talking,
that everyone feels about martial arts, and
Sure.
Yeah.
True. Well, while you were talking, though, what occurred to me was, I think what gets me as far as, whether we can have a standalone school or a dedicated school or whatever, that its primary reason of existence is a particular art. So you have a karate school, right? And sometimes they may have some extra programs, but we know it's a karate school. Why don't we see that about FMA schools? It's primarily the whole reason it exists is FMA school, even if they do want to teach a little extra on the other side. It's still committed to that primary art. That would be, in my mind, what makes it a standalone school.
Okay, here we go. This might be longer, so you might have to read it for me because where my screen is.
I can tell you that I will be dipping my toes back into the teaching full time since I retired. I had 3 schools at one time where I was the only instructor. That's from Guam.
Okay. Yep, that's from Bill. All right,
yes.
Cool. Loved, and you know what? We need everyone. Anyone who's teaching the art, it would need that. We need that. Now, I will say this: you will see. Okay, well, here we go. You know what's really big in the Philippines? Kung Tao and Sikran. Sikran is huge. Now, they are basically an FMA Taekwondo. Very light on the stick side of things, but it's Filipino martial arts. And they have huge programs.
Right. Well, there's a cultural thing there too, right? Because it doesn't have the thuggish nature of, say, Arnis that sometimes people perceive.
Well, yeah, like any art, depending on who's teaching it. Yeah.
Right. That's a good point, though, Bill. Any art, yeah. I used to tell people, hey, what's the best art? Well, 1, it's the one you do. 2, it depends on the teacher.
Like the same workout. What's the best workout? Everything's the same.
Right. But it does depend on the teacher. Yep.
I mean, personally, I don't care what FMA. Listen, I'll be the first to say I'd love to everyone do what we're doing, what Ty and I are doing, martial art wise. But you know what? If you're doing FMA, you're part of the family. You're part of the FMA army.
There you go. FM army.
The army, yeah, the farmy.
Farmy.
Army. But I mean, no, because we need more people doing what we do. I mean, it's the sad thing is we're the ugly stepchild of the martial art world. I mean, think about this. All the movies are doing Filipino martial arts, but we don't get any props for it.
Yep.
We should have people lined up out the doors because of all the movie crap.
Oh, wow. So he was related.
Yep. Cool. Yep. No, no, actually, I know that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Well, I'm only barely related because I'm a low colored belt.
Yeah. I gotta figure out what I'm doing because my teacher is retiring. My direct instructor, so I gotta talk to Unyo, who should be chiming in any moment now. Oh, there you go. Oh, here we go.
Nice. Nice.
I'll let you field that one.
I never watched the darn show. I saw snippets of it because my wife watched it. Horrible. Train wreck. That was good though.
He's just got this. He's got this gift. We love you, Renee.
But does that match with you as far as what I was saying about it?
You know what, Renee? If you have the tech savviness, we're gonna have to do an episode with you because he actually started a Dog Brothers group up in Toronto and started to beat the crap out of cancer.
Oh, he was the one that started that.
He was the one that started up in Toronto. Stir the pot, of course you do.
I need to do that. But back to what we were talking about. Did that resonate with you? What I was talking about is, hey, the school.
I don't listen to you, Ty. I don't know.
Is if the primary reason for the school is X art, then it's that school. That's what kind of school it is.
And that's it. I mean, and so I think, yes, that's what's the primary art. So I was featured in the NATMA magazine, having the nation's largest FMA school. Hell, having the only FMA school. And at the time, and anytime, by the way, good, we'll have you on. And I was talking to Ray Calasanti about this, and he's like, And we ended up talking about Apollo Adra at the time. And it's like, well, like Apollo's got a huge school of 400 people. I go, he's got 400 members. What do you mean members?
Mm-hmm.
I go, I've seen his team. He's got 20 solid FMA stylists at the time. This is before he first moved down to Florida.
Mm.
He was a Taekwondo school through and through.
Right.
And a huge cardio kickboxing program. Actually, I think at one time he had like 400 people in his cardio program. But that's not an FMA school. That's a school that was a Taekwondo school that offers this, that, and the other thing. And that's, I mean, so I think the problem with FMA is a lot of the programs are not standalone. That you need to supplement. So I mean, okay, let's talk about this. How many how many people out there do you see that are practicing? I don't know. I don't want to say any art because Tapato,
Yeah, right.
bashing the stick, long stick. Those people will end up doing kickboxing. A lot of FMA guys I see that they do their FMA for their weapons, and they'll do stand up with Muay Thai or boxing, and then they'll do groundwork with BJJ. And it's assumed that they're going to do these things. That their FMA ends up being almost, if not exclusively, predominantly, if not exclusively, weapon-based. Weapon.
And it's a module and a part of a larger system as opposed to being its own thing.
Well, I'm talking even like, okay, answer me this because I don't know. I'm asking the question. You worked a lot with Angelo for a bit, right?
Yeah,
Angelo Garcia.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Enough, yeah.
Did you ever see? Do you know if he did any open hand systems, or is that why he was training Krav Maga?
No, I think he's Krav Maga because his Israeli connections. That sounds like a movie.
Hey, Terrell, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Terrell. But we did talk about that, and
Billy. The beautiful Billy Jewel.
Maganda manga, Billy. We talked about that, and Lightning does have other aspects like not only, everybody thinks it's a long range single or double stake program, but they have the close in range, they have joint locks, and I believe he said, don't quote me. Well, I guess we're quoting me now because it's recorded, but I believe he said they had some empty hand stuff as well. I don't know.
Well, if any Lightning people out there are watching the show, we would love to get some feedback now and possibly do an episode on Lightning to discuss more of these things.
Sure.
Oh, if anyone's wondering what's going on, so Remy used to take paper towels or restaurant towels, napkins, and he would work his grip strength. So when I flew home from Texas, my breakfast burrito, I started doing that. Unfortunately, the aluminum foil, I ate the burrito first, but the aluminum foil started digging in my hands. So I decided to get one of these grip eggs, and they actually have 3 of them. So if you're like, what the hell is Tim doing with this orange thingy? Well, it's because I've got the green and the black thingy as well. So that's a technical term, thingy.
There you go.
Hey, ¿cómo está acá?
Maganda manga, Sir Plaridel.
Yeah. We love.
He's always on. That's nice. Appreciate your watching all the time, sir. Very nice.
I'm wondering if daylight savings time is helping us because it's actually even later in the day over there.
Yep, could be.
Playing with your balls. No, it's my eggs. They're not my balls. They're my eggs. They all might be the similar shape, right? Well, we won't get into that right
But
now.
actually, yeah, what were we talking about when Terrell came on?
Martial arts.
Well, yeah, but
No, but so like how many Filipino systems out there there's a lot of systems out there that I don't think have any open hand. I mean, they may pick some things up, but I think a lot of times it's expected for them, for practitioners to supplement their training in something else. Like Serrata, I don't know. Oh, Swaney, you're so bad. That is just so bad.
We saw him just was it 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Man, I loved the Texas camp. I had such a blast.
It was fun.
So
good
good reconnecting with people.
Oh,
here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, and we both know John Escudero and Angelo Garcia and Sachi Villarreal.
Yeah. But I mean, when I like Serrata Screama, I don't know of any open hand combatives from there.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people think FMA. A lot of times people think Sinawali that aren't in FMA. There are whole FMA styles, of course, that have no Sinawalis.
Combat judo from well, yeah, and like this one, well, Kuntao and Sikaran, very, very, very little weapons. It's mostly open hand. The question here is, what's the bulk of FMA or the bulk of FMA that ends up here in the States, and what's the delivery system? So. Right. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people took Remy's same approach. What did Remy do? See, now Remy was the same but different. So this is what I started before, and I sidestepped and went down this path because I think it was more important we talked about this first. What did Remy do when it came to distributing his FMA system? He built on somebody else's chassis. Mm-hmm. He did it art within your art. He'd sit there. Let's say there. He goes, you already know how to punch and kick, so I'm not going to teach you that. Oh, you know already how to lock. I'm just going to focus on the weapons. You know what? A lot of Filipino systems do the exact same thing. The difference is these other systems kind of said, hey, listen, you're going to do your FMA, but we're going to make sure this is exactly the way it is. And they taught it with a standard as it by itself. And what Remy did was use Filipino concepts to enhance the primary system. Now they both, but where I think a lot of other styles, they kept their FMA pure, but they didn't have the open hand. They said you're going to have to supplement that with other training. Remy showed how to blend the two, I think, or that was Remy's approach, and I think that's where the approach was different.
Right. Well, people are interested in adding to their system, whether it was weapon or Filipino concepts or drills. There, a lot of schools don't have drills. So
all FMA has open hand because the sticks are extension of the hand. I would agree and I would disagree all at the same time. If they're not taught how to do that, anything could be an extension. Let's put this. Okay, I'm not saying Terrell, you, but every time I hear that, I say to myself, bullshit. So Punong Ted, I love Punong Ted. My Balintawak teacher, I asked him once, hey, what do we have for open hands? And he showed me. And that's time I'll never get back again. I'm like, okay, we will never do open hand techniques again because that sucked. And I'm like, no. Just because it's an extension doesn't mean shit. And I think that's what he's saying right here. Absolutely correct him. I hope that's what I'm saying. But
or he's just agreeing. Or he's just agreeing that every time he says something, you're going to call him on bullshit.
Oh, maybe that's it. Okay, what did it say?
We love Terrell. We love you, Terrell.
In the States, from what I see, is the weapon approach is what draws clients in the schools to teach FMA. Okay. Fine, guys.
So he says good morning, and he also says that GM Roberto says, how are you?
Oh!
Says that. Yeah. Thank you,
Florida. Wonderful. Oh, Tito Berto.
Tell him the same back.
Hey, once the travel restrictions,
we will come see him.
I'm hopping on a plane. I'm going to call Ty up and say, this is the ticket I got. I'm flying solo or you're coming with me. One of the two. And then let's get this thing. Okay, so I think there's another form of Balintawak I've heard out there that's not the same version of what I would say. I know there's different branches, but I heard there's a Balintawak in Guam that is completely unrelated to Anchan Bacon's Balintawak.
Interesting.
Someone was telling me, I thought it was Guam. It could be somewhere else. So if that happens to be the case, what was it? Let's change the requisitions. Restriction. Okay. And then Terrell just laughs, LOL.
As an aside, so this is the kind of banter and play that I really appreciate of us advanced people. So for those that are watching, right? Tim is a grandmaster, Terrell is a grandmaster, and we're just calling each other names because we're friends and family. I think that's great.
Listen, we can throw the GM thing because you know how I feel about that right now.
I get you.
So, the issue, though, is that the sticks are an extension of the hands. Most people don't understand how to relate it. That also, Yeah, no question about that.
And Tara would know too. So
yeah, and I think probably one of the reasons why we get along on the mats so much is that what I've been focusing on the last few years that Terrell's been around me is all open hand interpretations of material. How to use Sinwalis for pad drills, how to do open hand combatives with it. Not necessarily saying that it's the only thing.
It's another lever.
It's another lever. Okay, I say yes, we are a crazy group. And Sweeney, what do you got for me? Sipping the cinnamon whiskey.
He's making me feel bad because he knows I drink my candy.
What's up? Just joining now.
Hey, GN.
Hey, how do I want? No, I don't want to do that, do I? Hey, Paulo. Do you know of any full-time FMA schools other than Rubio's? I mean, Miguel Rubies, Apollo Ladra, and myself.
And Missouri or not? Are they full-time? I can't remember.
Who?
Kansas City. Are they full-time?
I don't. Well, I know that's all she's doing, but I don't know if it's full-time yet.
Yeah.
Nope.
But that is the reason for the distance to the school, so maybe that counts. But anyway, let's just say there's at least 4 we know of ish. And he doesn't know of any other ones. Okay. Are there any on the West Coast?
Miguel Ruby. Miguel Ruby. Robert Castro used to have one.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was full-time or part-time full-time. Okay. I know he did full-time stuff, but I don't know if he had a day job or something else supplementing or not.
What about
okay, all right. So you brought I'm planning on being there. The only thing that might stop me is an overabundance of snow. I just know of Apollo. You and Apollo have dedicated academies. Then we go here, I believe, a full-time.
Awesome.
Yeah,
okay, that's what we need. That's what we need more. If that's the case, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll so that's 4. Okay.
Less than a handful. That's crazy. That is loco. That is buong.
That's full-time.
That is buong.
Not part-time full-time where.
Yeah.
Okay, and listen, this is that time that I lock up the shop. Ty says bad things. I'm gonna leave the screen up.
I may just be staring at the screen. I don't got anything. You can see what people throw at me here.
You can see comments, right?
Yeah, I can see comments. See if anybody throws up anything. What does anybody want me to talk about while we're here? Or I'll just rant and rave about schools and whatnot.
You can rant and rave about me.
So just to remind people, why we're here, right? We're talking about why is it that the default is, oh yeah, nobody has FMA schools. I think as soon as we accept that as a default, we're kind of screwed, right? Because that's now the baseline, and that I think is a very sad baseline. Right? Talk about Datu. I saw that, Sam. So that's the kind of crux what we're getting at here. And so what course, and we're getting sidetracked a little about it. Hey, what amounts to a standalone school? What amounts to a dedicated school? What amounts to the whole reason it's existing and doing its thing is because of FMA. We need to make that a baseline. Make that possible. Hey, if you want to do that, you should go ahead and try it. Just because other people aren't doing it doesn't mean anything. Rich says, loop back around to kids and the possible resurgence of adults again. No? Oh, that's good. I like that. So Rich suggested that, remember Tim brought up the fact that, hey, kids become adults. You have a kids program, and it's a way to get people started, right? But they told them to adults, and now you can have a good adults program. But you also then have people with a lot of years in. The other thing is a lot of times when you have kids programs, they bring their friends. They sometimes bring their parents in for family programs. You can have a family night. There are all of the normal things you do for having a martial arts school and a kids program apply to having FMA school, right? That's your primary reason to do. Kara says, you guys coming to Boston to open a school? Well, somebody's going to pay for me to move there. Sure. I got this full-time job here. So I talked about what Rich said, and you probably heard that. And then Giamunio. Awesome. Magandang sir.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about my future if Cute Mark is retiring as he says he is.
true. No, but Paulo's exactly right. But I mean, it all starts with somebody who's willing to do that.
Yeah. So as an example, okay, so a couple things. Why? Okay. People tried, but they don't know business, and they joined business groups like Maya, NAPMA, and all these other things, thinking that the joining alone was going to make them that make people come through their school. But they don't understand that when you join these organizations, they give you the tools, but you have to use the tools. Now,
you have to do the work, and you also have to then adapt
do
them
the work.
to FMA. You have to do the work, and you have to adapt them to FMA. A little bit different, right? They're not thinking about what an FMAer needs to adjust.
So I brought something here to. I'm going to make a little quick presentation. This is going to be an FMA. Oh shit! You know, I'm just going to do it. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm going to do.
You open up a can of worms?
You know what I'm going to do.
I actually don't, but when I see it, maybe I'll recognize it.
You know what I'm going to do.
Let's see. Where it's going to be, which one of our viewers are we going to make fun of? That's to make them feel involved.
So I just sent somebody a message.
Uh-oh. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We'll see if he's watching his Facebook Messenger.
There you go.
Terrell mentioned something.
Commercial for school. Many don't know much about FMA. True.
Okay. So, okay. I just got a message. Let me see what that's. You do that. I'll see what the message is.
Let me finish reading Terrell's message. He says, trying to have a commercial full-time school. Many don't know much about FMA and its promotion systems. Or if you don't have hands, most don't get the weapons first, then hands, if that is the case, which is interesting. I mean, people do assume that. But, you know, whatever, I don't think there's a right, wrong answer to that order. But, yes, I get you. People assume that. And then Bill in Guam says, that is where a basic knowledge of marketing and the ability of business operations comes into play with the FMA. Absolutely, right? That's the whole point, right? You gotta do the work, play the game, do it right so that more people can enjoy what we all love.
For the big picture.
For the big picture.
So let's see what Remy did. What Remy did was said that he looked to see what karate had. Because karate was winning in the Philippines. After World War II, karate was winning. Okay, I could have sworn the Japanese lost that one, but whatever.
I know that.
No, Remy, I don't need to throw you under the. Rich is messaging me. I'm not throwing you under the bus.
Oh no! Somebody.
Look who's here!
Oh wow!
What's going
on?
There goes the neighborhood.
Never a good idea. I knew you were going to do this. Never a good idea.
Hey. So real quick. I was just telling. This is Paolo. Unfortunately, GM Poggy's nowhere around, but you know, maybe one of these days we'll get him when he's available. But how you doing, Paolo?
I'm doing well, guys. Thank you guys very much. This is a very interesting topic. I'm actually at a family event, and I'm going to get in trouble for joining. But
no! Oh my gosh, no!
Hey, you tell your wife that Tito Tim will be making personal Arnie sticks for your daughter, for your lovely daughter, for both your children.
Okay.
I already told you when you get down here, I'm going to make sticks for them.
Awesome.
So one of the things that Remy did when he was competing against karate was he said, all right, karate has uniforms. So he did a uniform. They have a belting system. Now, I understand a lot of FMA people may say, I don't want to do belts, blah, 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 blah. But they do some kind of levels. Wow, look at this. These are silicone wristbands that people could wear in class, colored for the different levels.
Yeah.
This is part of our summer uniform. And so in the summer, we use a karate uniform because they're inexpensive and easy to get a hold of and very durable. But in the summer, people don't necessarily want to wear all that stuff. So we have fight shorts that they can wear, but it's still a school fight short. It's a school quick driving, and then they can wear the wristbands instead of the belt. So you still have that level. And now in our next test, everyone who gets promoted gets one of these automatically. So it's not this separate thing. So in our camps, a lot of times our people are not wearing belts. We do that for the formal stuff. For the informal stuff, we wear our school the org t-shirts, shorts or gi pants, and then we'll have the wristbands. And it's nice because then I can look really quickly and say, you're a blue belt. All right. It might be a black belt in karate, but in blue belt arnis, I know what I can bring them on the floor and do.
Well, man, I think those are great ideas. The thing about the Filipino martial arts community right now, you brought me out here for a reason, right? Like, I'm just gonna
cause trouble.
Look, stirring the pot. No, but the fact of the matter is, those things, belts, ranking, having a good business sense, a contract to sign, programs that you can continually join, something that the parents can look forward to, and they can have a quantifiable metric to say, oh, I've spent this much money. My son went from this belt to black belt. So all of these things that are the in their absence is, I believe, holds Filipino martial arts back, right? So without these things being in place, not to say that there aren't great things about backyard study and small groups and interpersonal relationships.
I mean, you got a great group for that,
right? That has a place. But the same people who want to see Filipino martial arts grow and flourish aren't willing to accept these, necessary changes to be able to facilitate that kind of growth, right? So they might look at you and say, "Oh, Professor Remy did this because of that, and it's not authentic." I'm like, who cares? Mm-hmm. Who cares? We all want Filipino martial arts to grow, right? I have I have arguments almost daily with people who want to see Filipino martial arts grow, but are unwilling to change the way things have always been that have prevented it from growing. So I'm like, bro, that is the very definition of insanity.
I was going to go there.
Definition of insanity.
Yep.
Well, and then listen, I get it. And then, of course, Bill from Guam says, Chef Paulo is in the kitchen adding to the pot. I love it. Listen, at the end of the day, these certain things may be beyond your ability. So my thing is always, if you can't do it, support the people who can. Don't detract from them. You say, hey, listen, I don't have the temperament to teach children. I don't know what I should do. And we talked about this before. It's not necessarily like people talk about watering down tribal mentality. Exactly, Bill. When we do a program, it's not about watering something down. It's about making something age appropriate or maybe more consumable. Like why do we have all these belts? To me, a lot of the belts, it's the same level material, but it's just too much to consume all at once. So when I look at the first three belts, I don't think that the first three belts or first three levels are any harder than the other. I think it's too much to learn all at the same time.
I think it makes it accessible, right?
Exactly.
Who's paying for these kids' programs, right? Like the parents.
Yeah.
And for me, what a joy it was to see my daughter earn her first stripe.
Nice.
Jiu-jitsu. She's not a killer. Are they watering down jiu-jitsu for my 6-year-old? No. You're not watering down jiu-jitsu. You're making it accessible to a 6-year-old who may or may not fall in love with it. And I think when Filipino martial arts people vilify those who are trying to make a legitimate business out of it, they automatically assume that that's the primary objective. It's not. I mean, obviously it has to be born out of passion, because you can't be a millionaire doing FMA, but it's like these people like you who want to do it right are sometimes vilified for not being authentic enough.
Well, you made a comment once about this, and when I had to think about this. You made the comment saying, yeah, I wish there were FMA McDojos. And for
I do.
I'm like, well, yeah, because that would mean the quantity of people to have that kind of stuff going on for whatever percentage would be McDojo, you'd also have a shitload of legit.
Yes. And what these McDojos can actually accomplish is to create a perpetual pool of young talent. Mm-hmm. And without that, it's going to die. I don't care how awesome your small group is and, we got a bunch of killers. There's 3 of you. Yeah. That's not going to last beyond maybe even the winter.
Well, so when people talk about, I've got these warriors, really? What branch are they in? And then, they're not in the military. Well, then how the hell can they be a warrior if they don't go to war? So shut up. But
yeah,
that's if some of my best friends say that. Not you, Ty.
It's for me. Look, this is not stirring the pot now, right? This is getting real with it. I think that Filipino martial arts practitioners and instructors ought to understand that there's more than one way to do this, and that we should support each other. And I think what everyone is trying to do is trying to impose their systems, their beliefs, their rules, their norms onto everybody else. And that's not gonna work. It's just gonna create more division. So yeah, for sure.
What's Terrell saying here? I can't.
I'll read it because he's probably on the phone. Yeah. Terrell says, "Oh my gosh, wow, he's on point." That's you, Paulo. And as much as I love Blintwalk, it is hard to explain a level system when many know and understand belts. And in my opinion, we need to move forward to make it grow. And in America, people want to see growth, and most, if not all, understand belts over a level system. It's hard to market that. That's one example. But yeah, I think in general. So a good friend of mine's teacher had a good conversation with me. He ran 3 or 4 very successful karate schools in Colorado Springs. And he told me that he taught the best karate that was marketable that anybody wanted to do, right? It scratches that itch. And then within that, once they got to black belt or whenever they realized they were the martial nerd that we are, then you became, down a different path. But it used it to make it accessible and grow it into people who might get interested. And then you have a bigger pool of the martial arts geeks and nerds who can even take it one level further. But you can't have that if you can't have it first. So that was a great discussion. So this ties right into that. You guys are saying the same things. George Harris, if the kids fall in love with it, only then there will be growth. I prefer teaching adults, but most of the time we grow our own adult students, which was why Rich wanted to talk about that. Yep.
Yeah. And like, we can't teach kids the way grandpa and uncle used to teach the young Filipino kids back in the day. Like,
they'll report
shut down very quick.
That's right. You'll be reported.
The other thing too is they talk about that, but we used to put the sandals on our hands and fight this way. Well, it's because you didn't have safety gear. Now, the last time we were there, Craig and Ty and I all walk up and they're sparring over at Riddell's group, and I'm like, why are you using all this gear? Oh, it's for a tournament. Well, you don't need the gloves. Maybe the gloves, but you don't need this. You don't need that. The tournament requires that. They have more gear wearing in the Philippines doing stick fighting than they do in the States. I'm like, whoa.
Hey, do you guys ever take swimming lessons, or do you know anyone who's taken swimming lessons?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. I took swimming lessons here, but how I actually learned how to swim. So let's imagine swimming was the national art and sport of the Philippines. Okay. The way my grandfather taught me how to swim was to throw me in the river and let me almost drown to death. But I learned how to swim. If we're going to take swimming as the national sport of the Philippines, and we're going to propose that's how we teach the youth here in North America, it's not going to happen.
So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 3 sisters.
How many did you used to have?
Right. So I hope that swimming analogy makes sense, right?
Yeah,
we're transporting something out of a culture and we want it to grow. There's gonna need to be some modifications to suit the culture that we're trying to introduce it to, right? Because again, if we go back to swimming, we can't have swimming instructor. Imagine you sign your kid up for swimming lessons and it's an old man with a questionable past just throwing them in rivers.
Yeah.
Sure, that's a proven method.
There we go.
But that's not going to work here.
Yeah.
Well, and people get the mistaken idea that if you do make some adjustments to get people in and involved, that somehow you're changing the whole art. You can still go to the place you want to go to.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to sacrifice anything.
Well, here's a good one. I remember.
Right.
There was a list. Bullshido used to have a list what a McDojo was.
Right.
And everything on the list I did in my school. And I was talking to Bob Hubbard once about it. And he goes, well, if you do birthday parties, you're a McDojo. I go, first of all, I don't do birthday parties as a business. One of my little girls here came up, Datu Tim, can I have my birthday party here? Yeah. And I got 30 leads out of it.
Sure.
Well, I give birthday parties away just to get the leads in. So but just because you do a birthday party, I mean, listen, if my main form of income was birthday parties, then I wouldn't be a martial arts school. I would be a martial themed party center. So let's see. We didn't get our niece till Eric came to Colorado, but we did learn the whole art either. We just learned some Sinwalis and a few disarms. Okay, Ty. And then Maria Aquino says, hello, Tim, Ty, and Paulo and all.
Hey, guys, I got to get back.
You gotta go.
Yep, thank you for inviting me.
All
Keep
right.
up the great work. Full support.
Hey, real quick, I'm going to just throw this out. We're talking about doing a vlogger show with with people like Dean Franco, Jesse from FMA Pulse. I'm thinking the June and Paul and you. I thought that would be a phenomenal show. Do you think we could?
I mean, if they would go on, on with me, I'd be more than happy to.
I already talked to them. Everyone's cool if we could have a nice productive conversation about what we're doing in our respective fields. Are you in?
100%. Just make sure Paul has some tissues on the side. And I'm just joking. We're ball breakers. This is part of Filipino culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, no crying. Just no crying.
Yes, they stab each other in the back. My friends, I stabbed them in the back. Oh wait, no, that's
all right, guys.
Take care, man.
Thank you guys for calling me.
Thanks for stopping by.
I'm out of here. Take care, guys.
Take care. That's funny.
I dropped my egg.
Wow.
I'm doing my
you talk to Paulo and then you drop your balls.
Oh, let me see here. So Bob from Chicago says hello.
Nice.
Then we got that's called the tie-in maker. Okay.
A tie-in in marketing, right? So when you get the leads and you bring them in, yeah.
And there we go. Yes, great idea.
Ready for that show?
Yep.
I don't know. With how much we were all breaking, teasing each other and having a good old time with just you, me, Jesse, and June, it was great.
All I got to know, though, there's a throwdown, and I only see you and I left standing here. So that's all I'm saying.
That was good. That was good.
With the birthday parties.
Oh, with the tie-ins. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, you get exposure, you get people in, and you then get them on the path. The path doesn't change, just the way you got them in, and maybe the way to keep them on the path. But the path still goes to the same place. You don't have to sacrifice your standards eventually.
So here's the thing. What do you consider someone that admits he doesn't know anyone or anything? If we're talking about a field of expertise, if we sat there and we have a room full of black belts, and a guy goes, does any of you not know what a hip throw is? Most people would probably just keep their mouth shut. Wouldn't you say that?
They would, although some venturous people might go, wait a second. What I know is a hip throw might be different than what you use a hip throw.
Yes,
Show me, and we'll see.
But if someone sat there and said, I have no clue what you're talking about, what do you call that person?
Honest?
And humble?
Sure.
Secure.
Or sometimes, some of us go, I know half a thing, which is what
there you go. And all the gear was from that weak half influence. Yes, it was.
That was big for,
So here's what people have to do: is prepared. Okay, when you show that you know, okay, when you admit to not knowing something, that leaves yourself being vulnerable.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh, here we go. Taekwondo.
I am the Grandmaster. Yeah.
Okay.
Taekwondo.
So, so here's what happens. I belong to a couple different martial business groups.
Sure.
And we go in, and someone will sit there and say, open up your mic, we're doing a Zoom conference. And the first thing I say is, I'm a black belt in martial arts, and I'm about an orange belt in martial business. I don't know what we're talking about, and that's why I joined the group. Please expand about what you're saying. Help me understand what you're doing.
Nice.
And I know a lot of people. I'm not patting. Okay, when I say this, it's not about patting myself on the back, but I'm always one of I'm always the minority of the group that actually says that. And I think a lot of people are just they're too proud to say something this. They have to humble themselves and say, teach me. I don't know. I mean, when I showed up, so my Kuntao Sikaran is the same instructor. I showed up and he tells the story to people. He goes, yeah, Tim came in. He had a uniform, yeah. And he wore his white belt. White belt. Isn't he a black belt? Yeah. I asked him the same thing. Where's your black belt, Tim? It's in Buffalo. Well, why aren't you wearing it? Because I'm a white belt in this. And he smiled. He goes, yeah, I did the same thing when I joined. But the thing is, how many people would do that? When I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I put my white belt with my one stripe on it. I earned my one stripe, so I'm keeping that one.
There you go.
It took me 20 years to do it.
But well, I think that's important for a lot of things, right? It gets that conversation going forward. And like you said, it puts you in that mind. But the other thing, it actually programs yourself and takes the pressure off. If you admit that you don't know something, then one, you don't have anything to prove. Two, you already opened it in your mind, ready to take what it is that you can learn. Because the moment you think you know something, you're not going to learn.
And that's the problem with the people in our industry. We have a proud tribal culture. And we don't want to look weak in front of our people or in front of our peers. And, I'm the first to say, when I don't know something, I'm like, dude, teach me. How do you make that work? I mean, when we were down at Bobby's, Dan Medina was teaching something, and it was doing the last technique, and I gave the girl my camera. I ran up, do it to me. I want to feel this shit.
That was good.
Maul Morney's done a whole shitload. Maul Morney didn't want to do stuff to me. He's like, Tim, this is going to hurt. That's okay. No, Tim, no. It's okay. I'm going to learn. Do it. Oh, it hurt a lot.
You didn't mind when we asked him to show it again and again and again on you?
Oh, screw that. There's a big factor of who aren't afraid to express the lack of knowledge in certain areas. Daryl, I want to. I wipe up. There you go. Good. It's Sweeney. Well, there we go. It could be a little both. Both.
Yep.
The problem I have. Okay, here's the problem I really have. Okay, so I want to know when all these born again Lapu Lapus came out. When I see a whole bunch. Okay, now here we go. This is going to sound racist, but I can say it because I'm white. When all these white guys are going all these Filipino challenges and all this other stuff, I'm like, dude, you're not Filipino. You're born in Jersey. Or you're born in Wyoming. Actually, let's go Wyoming, because Jersey, there's a lot of immigrants over there, because you never know. But I mean, like in Kansas and all this other stuff. I'm like, dude, you're not Filipino. I know I'm not Filipino. I know more about some Filipino cultures than some of the Filipinos themselves. But at the end of the day, I'm still a white guy swinging a stick.
Yep.
And I'm like, I listen to this stuff, like when people are challenging each other, I go, what the hell are you thinking about? When do we? But I've also seen this in the Chinese martial arts, the Japanese martial arts. Like, dude, you were born around the corner. They insulted my master and the temple. You've watched too many kung fu movies.
You can never watch too many.
Oh, you're right. You've taken them to heart too much.
Some people my dad said there was only 3 kung fu movies. They just changed the names.
Probably right. Okay. Some people try to dazzle people with brilliance, just usually baffles them with bullshit. Bullshit.
Well,
that's too deep.
I don't know about you. When I see people doing that, I notice it, and it actually is not. It does not put them in a good light, right? You're not fooling anybody.
No. I think okay, why don't we have Filipino martial arts schools? Because people have to be committed to the craft to do it, and they're not. They don't want to. I mean, people get in their safe zone. I stayed in the school I was in until it was time for me to leave. Until something forced me out of the door, which I probably should have left. I was teaching on a gym. Once again, I should have left based on what stuff was going on. And at the end of the day, the gym closed in the middle of the night. I should have left a month or two prior when I was thinking about it. But something caused, I wasn't happy at work. And then shit went down sideways, ended up at another place. There's a lot of times where things didn't go the way they should have. Something forced me versus me making my own decision. Something outside influences versus just doing what needed to be done. And I think the problem here is people are they there's a lack of. I don't see the leap of faith. I don't see people going to this going, hey. I don't think they're committed as much as they want to believe they are.
Right.
There we go.
So Terrell says, laughing his ass off. I've seen that crap at karate tournaments, and they have not left the damn state, but talking with this broken English like they're Korean or Japanese that just got off the plane. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Role playing, right? Some people are LARPing when they do martial arts. I'm just saying.
You're right. Yeah, it annoys the hell out of me. But a lot of people talk about being committed to the art, but how committed are they? If they were truly committed to the art, they sit there and say, I can't do this because I can't risk it with my family, the income, and all this other stuff. Well, then get behind the people who are making that commitment and help them out.
Right.
But the other thing too is people are like crabs. Why do you go to the Chinese? Go to Chinatown, you see the baskets open because one crab tries to get out, the one on the bottom pulls him down. And that's it. I mean,
Yep.
Goes back to the seminar.
Yep.
Oh, can't have that happen. Why? You're not doing it.
Right.
Yeah. I want to see Filipino martial arts become a bigger thing in our industry. But I also think we need to be honest about what we're doing, what we claim to be doing.
He wants to do furry LARPing.
Oh, we don't want that to happen. No.
Especially not with Rich. That's scary.
Well, okay, yeah, no, Rich. Let's not go there. So, yeah, other thing recently, it just seems that people can't stand seeing someone else successful. I remember,
but someone else's success has no bearing on your own. There's more than enough room in people to do all sorts of cool things.
I remember, who was the guy? Jerome Teague. Teague got something going on in Greece.
Yep.
And he went there and and he posted up like, damn it, I wish that was me. Good for him.
Yeah.
I was jealous in a positive way,
right.
Not a negative way.
I think there's jealousy and there's envy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh man, I wish that could be me. But then again, I look at all the stuff I have.
Yep.
Hey.
Rosid.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So, welcome to the show. I go, with all the stuff I have, I mean, and I've done, I don't need, but I've always wanted to go to Greece. So I was like, but I look at people like, man, yeah, I wish it was me. But you know what? It's not. And I feel good for them. Let me see here. I started my school in 1989. I have 4 different systems. I said before, I faced a lot of the same things. Close mindedness. Yep. Yep.
This is where I type sigh in the.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's no fun, Bill.
Yeah. I think the big thing here that's killing us is the lack of commitment.
And there's different ways to be committed, but if you're going to be a school and recognize what you do and what you're not doing, go just do that and support those that are doing more.
I know it's not easy. It's not, trust me, I've made a lot of sacrifices for this.
I was going to say, it's easier for me to talk, right? Because I just have a training group and a career and all that good stuff. However, I support all of my FMA friends, even you. So,
that.
That's right.
That's a crazy one.
Yeah.
But,
that's my way to be committed.
Yeah,
great. Russell's a student of GM Roberto and GM Cristino.
Oh, excellent.
And he says, Pugai to all of the FMA brothers and sisters worldwide. Again, more of that support that we need to grow. Everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Salamat po.
So, I don't know. Have we said everything we need to say? Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. That is the Filipino way to support. There you go. Good.
I didn't see anybody getting upset, so we probably didn't say everything. Terrell's abandoning us.
Good night, my brothers. I have to get up early for work, but Tim, I don't have jealous for anyone. I just treat them like fish. I take what's good that you have in the others, and the rest of you want it. I will steal what's the idea of the wristband. It's not stealing when I give it away.
That's right.
And I stole it from the defense lab. Hey, you know what? If you want, you can do. Okay, so you could do color wristbands, armbands, color hats. I knew a Mickey Mouse club once. It was Mickey Mouse Dojo. We thought they were going to give out colored ears instead. I mean, but
you could do these. What do you call it?
The rings. Yes,
rings.
There you go.
As long as you know this is not your uniform, you still have to wear clothes.
Yes, you do. Yes, and it's got to be worn on your finger. So, 24-hour wristbands is where I got them from, and I think these are 1 inch.
I think an average. Yeah, those are cool. I like the wide ones.
Yeah, the wide ones. And the cool thing is, I got Prices Arnice on one side, the website wrnice.com on the other, and
doesn't it have something on the inside?
It has a secret message that you can't really read it because it's just raised up. It says "Student for Life."
Perfect.
Because we keep learning all the way.
Perfect.
All right.
Stephen Swinney says BJJ school locally uses colored T-shirts. I mean, something that people can see and appreciate and help organize. That's all it takes.
I'm gonna throw one out for that. Okay. Let's say for those who are thinking about doing something, don't do colored T-shirts, and I'll tell you why. Unless you have a lot of students, when it comes to do T-shirts, it costs a fair amount of money to reorder because you have to do dozens at a time.
Sure.
Dozens. You know, I know people say, I need a dozen shirts. You know what? A lot of times, it's almost the same price to do 2 dozen shirts as to do 1 dozen shirt.
Right.
That's why my school shirt, everyone wears the same. We used to do a gray bull and then the red bull. We do the red bull for everybody now. It's the wristbands that tell you the level, and then the patch on our uniforms, the gray bull for color belts, the red bull for black belts. You know, but the wristband goes a long way, and it's inexpensive, and it's really inexpensive, you know, comparatively speaking. So, I mean, so if anyone's interested, I do business consulting on the side. Feel free.
Do you still do the FMA professional or whatever?
I haven't done the videos in a while because life has been crazy. So I used to do FMA professionals. It's one of my channels. Unless you have ties to the Philippines. What does
you're talking about cheaper T-shirts? Yeah, you could do that, I guess.
Yeah, but you still got to do enough, and then you got to have it shipped over to you. And there's about keeping inventory in stock and all this other stuff. And you know,
overhead. I don't want any overhead.
Here's the thing about the more that's on your shelf, the more money that's sitting there doing nothing.
Yep.
And you say, well, why is it all about money? It's about keeping the doors open. Churches have closed because they didn't have the proper people to manage their money. The Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Scouts in general, they have corporate people to take care of all this stuff.
Yep.
You know, and you have to think, even if it's a non-for-profit, you got to be business-like.
Yep.
Because you got to figure out, okay, I have a 5,000 square foot facility that I'm sitting in right now. I got to make sure what I have to think about this. 5,000 square foot.
That's huge.
Okay. You know, my expenses per month, you know, I said there, what most training groups wouldn't pay to keep my doors open. You know,
right.
Oh, I got 10 people. I got 15. I remember went to Ray Galant's tournament in Lodi, New Jersey when he was still there. And we're talking and talking and talking. And the guys are like, yeah, so how many people you got? It's really low now. It's like 85. 85? Oh, my God. I thought 8 was a lot of people. Like,
it's all relative.
Yeah. So, you know, when you see these big martial arts schools, you know, the other thing is knowing what to charge. You know, I mean, it was crazy because I was charging $50 a month back in the day.
Right.
I'm doing 3 times that now. And I remember when I first moved into the plaza, I raised my rates 3 times in the first month.
Hmm.
You know, and I went from $50 up to $90 a month. Boom, boom, boom. And I should have had it. I should have had it more.
I think I'm dating myself. I remember my first kung fu classes in the States, $29 a month back in 81, 82, 82.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you're running a place, we're a business, which means we have the same overhead that everyone else has.
Well, it's the same reason we want the FMA to be spread and get secure, so that's, or spread and be successful, so that we can have the gene pool. So if you don't keep your school open by charging and doing the right things to be a business, then you can't do that other part. You can't spread your art.
Well, I remember watching. There we go. 65 a month back in 91. Yep. I remember people doing promotional. Okay, they would do demos at festivals, and they're doing live stick fight. They're doing Dog Brother-esque fighting at a town function.
That'll scare people away.
Do you see yourself? and the thing here is there's a phrase when we're doing stuff, and this will be my last thing on this. When we look at things, don't look at things through black belt eyes. Don't look at it. Oh, here we go. My first class was $10 a month.
Wow. Wait a second. How old is Bill?
There we go. All right. So, what that means is don't look at this as if you were doing something. It's about people coming in.
Yep.
Like when I do advertising and stuff like that, I'll show it to one of my parents. Hey, you don't know what the hell we do we? No, I don't. Drop my kid off. Come here for a second. What do you think as a mom, what do you think? Oh, wow. Just like when you were in town, we talked about while words matter.
Yep.
We said, if this event, what do you think about brotherhood? Yeah, I don't think it'd be women friendly. All right, Ty, that's food for thought.
Yep.
Just like when I talked to the Chamber of Commerce and they asked me to come to the women in business thing, I'm like, well, it's all women in business. What do you want me to do there? I mean, I'm not coming there to get a date. Janice would kill me.
Yep.
Old enough to know better, young enough.
There you go. Nice.
I
think I like him.
Yeah. We like him. So, we have to make sure when we're advertising and doing things, it's from the outside in, not the inside out. Because the problem here, so I've had people give me a lot of shit because there's a huge karate sign on my building. But even Taekwondo schools had karate signs on their building because no one knew what the hell Taekwondo was.
The old shirt, the old design.
American Modern East, Filipino karate.
Yep, that's how Remy got it out there sometimes.
Oh, the check's in the mail.
Nice.
So, so when we do this stuff, we just got to realize that when we're promoting stuff, we have to promote this to the uneducated consumer. And once again, even if this is a non-for-profit thing, we still got to be business-like. And how do we attract new eyes to what we do and not scare people away in the process? You can have your closed-door sessions or elite training groups. What you said. You taught the bare minimum. The guy that you knew taught the maximum that would keep people interested, and he would cherry pick the elites for other events. So be it. All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps things up. The only thing that's stopping us from having full-time FMA schools is us.
He's accepting that as a standard.
We all need to man, woman, or toaster up and do what needs to be done. And so now my advice probably are to all the people who are retiring from good jobs, Ty. I think Suhan Arlene is doing a good job from getting the word out, but she still has a career.
Yep.
I'm hoping that people like her, because she could have double impact, because she could also impact the women in martial arts, because it's really hard. Like lately, I've been getting a shitload of girls, which is great because that's the future of what we do. But we need more women in doing what we do. We need this child friendly as well.
Yeah.
Because if the women and the children can do that, it means everyone else can do that.
Well, I think we need to focus on accessibility again, right? So the thing is we're not trying to market to people who already know they love the stuff. Those people already know they love the stuff. We don't need to impress them. We need to somehow make it accessible and interesting for people who don't know what they're looking at. And so if it scares them away, you've already lost them.
So if your training group is getting smaller and smaller, I'll pull that up in a minute. If your training group is smaller and smaller and you're not getting the workouts that you want, you need to look at how to get more bodies in there. And it's not just fresh meat, it's meat. It is fresh meat. And it's good to have that beginner to train the unpredictable stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then you train your partners up to be the partners you need them to be.
Yep.
And of having lost black belts through work and rescheduling, relocating in school and all this
School,
other stuff, I get that 100%. I just got one of my star girls. They're going to be going on walkabout this summer with the family for a couple of years.
Wow.
Because they can.
Cool.
And they'll eventually be back. So
Awesome.
now I'm going to try to see if there's a way I can get her prepared for her junior black belt before they leave. You know? So, and then here we go. Double impact, not threat.
Right.
Yeah. And then, Maria Aquino, yep, we need to teach.
We need teachers to teach, people that are qualified and able, and they need to step up.
And that's in Canada, she's saying, too, I think. FMA Canada. CA. And I'm happy to be the training partner. And George is one of my main training partners. Matter of fact, Ty, when do you think you're getting here on Friday?
Friday sometime. Maybe if I can swing it late Thursday. I don't know.
Well, because George is going to be here on Friday to mess your stuff up.
Good. Good.
George,
do I get to do the same?
Yes, you do.
All right, good.
George keeps me thinking. So George has been around forever and a day. And I got some pictures I should probably pull out. Not today, though. Not today. And that's it. Okay. So absolutely, he says. Absolutely. Listen, we train hard. We train each other harder. We mess each other up just to tear something apart, put it back together, and go from there.
Mm-hmm. And we have fun.
You know, we like to experiment with our martial arts.
Explore.
While still keeping that base, the spirit of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Sweeney. He seems to be more popular in the Northeast than down our way. You know, it's all the same. Well, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because Texas is just the state. It's another country. It's a little different. Y'all sort of keep them foreigners out of your borders a little more. You don't let them Filipinos come down there to teach you stuff. Scare them away when you say, hey, sir, you coming into our state, you got a gun? No, here's two. It's kind of... Well, actually, I remember one of the times I went more seminars and such. When I went down there, they go, that's what, Tim, you know, it's legal to drive around with a sword on your back now? Really? Is it still legal to possess firearms down here? Yeah. Well, I'm going to opt for that over the sword on my back.
So more seminars, Steve. You know, I don't know if I told or if Abel told you, I'm down in Texas for 2.5 weeks in January, February, mainly February. So I'm hoping to get out to Stephenville and hopefully I can see you again. Maybe, you know, happy to train and play.
All right. So I can't think of anything else. I think I'm good.
I think we're good, and we haven't, you know, people haven't been priming us for more things.
I think this has been a really good. I think this overall has been a good discussion.
We've been kind of all over the place, but hopefully it was interesting. And there's some issues that we need to talk about. You're right. But I mean, you know, if we want it all to progress and spread, we have to figure out ways to make that happen.
Look forward, and no, he did not. Of course, he's ably. Yeah, no, we gotta come up. This is everything. Okay, I'm gonna give you the secret of life.
42.
42.
I'm a 42th belt.
Oh, there we go. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no in between. Standing on the sideline, it's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all need to get involved. We gotta do what needs to be done. You know, we keep hearing about, Arnie's in the Olympics, man. Remy gave me a letter back in the 80s of that shit. Still not gonna get there. Now, being in the SEA Games, it's gone a long ways. It's great. I don't think it'll be done in our lifetime, but that doesn't mean it's not a noble thing to get involved with for the future.
They used to have pistol dueling in the Olympics for a couple of years. So yes, we can get it in eventually.
Pistol dueling?
Yep. They would use wax bullets and they'd put on pads and they would do actually pistol dueling in the Olympics.
What the hell was that?
For 2 Olympics, way back of 100+ years ago.
I was born in the wrong time.
Look it up. It's pretty interesting. They got pictures.
There we go. I was in the snap. There we go. Cool. I would have loved to have gone to it. Just bad timing. So, what's the moral of the story? Get involved. So, we don't have a show. I had that one. Okay. We don't have a show planned for next week. So we have 3 shows left for the year. So the 20th is the last show of the year. We'll be taking time off and starting back up in January. Now, we might do some special editions because we got to get Dan Medina on here.
Yep.
I was talked to the new year. We're going to try to do something with all the social media guys. It's going to take, because of the holidays, we got to get through that. I have do you have any idea what we could do next week?
I hadn't thought about it. I might come up with an idea. I think there's a couple things that I have in mind.
Lead follow. Okay, here we go. Oh my God, this is great. I might even
lead follow. Get the hell out of the way. Yep. No, that's Bill's got it.
Bill's got it. And this is what what? Okay, I'm gonna paraphrase this for all the Modern East people listening. We're trying to make I'm through the World Modern East Alliance. I'm trying to make the art move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've been struggling with this for a while because our numbers are going down and COVID is not helping at all. 30% of all martial arts schools have closed permanently, and the Filipino martial art industry, for lack of a term, is a parasite living off another animal like these schools.
Yeah, shouldn't have to be that way.
No, which is the theme of the show. But since it is that way, and the rec centers and all this other stuff.
Yep.
So people need to get involved. We are the largest, if not the only U.S.-based modern art organization, because I think the others have turned themselves into more followings than organizations because they're not organized. There is no curriculum, and they don't have training headquarters to name a few things. But I think it's what's happened. And for whatever the reason was, we're not going to get into pointing fingers of why. But the thing is, Modern East used to be the biggest, one of, if not the biggest, Filipino-based system for Filipino martial arts taught in the world. Okay? Now it's not. Now I think it's on life support.
And we, as a family, did that.
Now, we, as in the World Modern East Alliance, disorganized chaos. Yeah. We've been growing since the moment we started the organization. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the others haven't been doing the same. And if we stop tomorrow, I don't think there's a gene pool enough for the art to go another generation here in the States underneath the banner of Modern Artists. Mm-hmm. So I implore you all to get involved. Now, I'd love it to be part of what we're doing with the World Modern East Alliance, but if that's not the case, get involved with someone else. But all you people out there, if it's all about putting money in your pocket and not about the next generation, then you're not helping. So I will quote this. So if you're not going to lead, follow someone who will, or get the hell out of the way. Okay.
Or at least don't sabotage.
Yeah. So
it just bothered me. Anyway, we'll go. Moving on.
Yes, moving on. So, all right. So, we'll come up with a show for next week. But here we go. December 13th, the show will be on the life and times of Guru PG Punong Guro Tye Botting. That's you.
Oh, well, I have to remember my story then.
Yes. Yeah. Well, just fabricate something. It's all good. That's what I do.
You mean do what everybody else does?
Fake it until you make it.
There was a good quote about that today.
Okay. And then on the 20th,
we're going to pick on you. Is that it?
there we go.
All right, good.
There we go. And those will be the two official last shows of the season. We've talked about us, but I want to go so our listeners know a little more what's going on, how we started, what we did, what we've done. I don't think people really know as much how much you've actually done, and whether or not someone has opened a door for you, as Remy opened for all of us. It was still up to us to make us welcome and welcome back.
Yep. No, well, you know me. I'm doing what I can the way I can in the background, but yep, no, I get you. But no, so everyone who is here, still here, definitely think up some good questions for me for the 20th, and do the same, I guess, for Tim if you want to do for pick on me. That's fine too.
Just bust my chops. That's it. All right.
Pick on us both and ask anything you want to ask.
There we go. So as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit that notification button, and by all means, share this video wherever you feel is appropriate. And remember, we have the last seminar of the year Ty's hosting. This weekend is the Black Belt Prep thing that we're doing for our members. Then we have the Fall Fling down in Fairfax area.
Sponsored by Volpes Training.
Just like the show.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure you like our sponsors as well. Is the Chad going to be there?
I think so. Yes, I believe yes.
Is he in a teaching role?
I believe so. Yes.
So 3 of us will be there. 2 of us for sure, if not 3 of us, will be in teaching roles.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be great. Mm-hmm. All right. I missed some comments here. Rich, be prepared to discuss your thesis.
It's my dissertation, but okay.
Ty is a Gemini. We like to be the genius behind the background.
It's called Machiavellian.
All right. Well, as always, everybody, please stay safe and stay sane out there. This is Datu Tim.
FMA Talk.
Saying we'll see you real soon.